Hey everybody, it's Matt Shu from Upright Health. Today we're going to be talking about some very specific examples of how I'm troubleshooting my own body so that maybe you can take some ideas and inspiration for your own troubleshooting for whatever issues you have. So for those who are not aware, and I think that's probably everybody, about 3 months ago, I gave up playing goalie in ice hockey. I just needed to take a break and step back. I wanted to play like a normal human being who gets to just kind of stress-free skate around. Maybe you lose the puck, maybe you don't, maybe you score a goal, maybe you don't, doesn't really matter, low stakes. And so in that time period, I managed to play a lot of hockey skating out as a player. And as some of you may have noticed through some of my other videos, I did some exercises that destroyed my knee. I blew out my left knee doing some squatting. I didn't stretch enough. Basically seemed like a meniscus tear. But in that whole process, I had to learn some things to help rehab my hips and my knee. And the end result is now my knees feel really good. Actually better than before the injury, which is awesome. My hips actually feel better than they did before the injury, which is also awesome. And last night I went back to play goalie, and I actually felt like I played better than I did before I took the break. And my skating definitely improved because my hips were working differently, which was really cool. The things that I learned from the hip injury helped my hips move better playing goalie. So I was really thrilled with that last night. And apparently I still do enjoy being hit by objects, so that's cool. The thing that I noticed though, and it's something that I have noticed since the knee injury, something that I've been paying attention to anyway. It's not something that was like ruining quality of life or anything, but it's something that I started paying more attention to after the left knee gave out. And I noticed it a lot last night, is my skating to this direction actually feels really stable. It's pretty good. When I need to do something like this leg seems to do fairly well. I think it can improve a little, and it would make me a better player. But this side, when I go to this side, it definitely does not feel like this leg knows what it's doing. It's like the hip muscles here, my adductors, are doing too much work. And so some tissue work on it does seem to be helpful for it. But I think there's actually a little bit of a programming issue going on. So in addition to the tissue work and to the normal stretching that I do for my inner thighs, I'm noticing that there's something else happening that I need to relearn. So I'm already quite flexible through here. I know that is not my big issue. I definitely do some tissue work all through the adductors, and that does help the thing that I'm feeling. But the thing that I feel is that I'm gonna use this to help me balance. If I have my leg up, so I do hip flexion, I get abduction, and then I want to rotate like this, what happens is I feel the adductors kind of, really the whole group, but in different spots. I'll feel like medial hamstrings and adductors, so we're thinking about adductor magnus. And I'll also feel up near the adductor attachments, some things tighten a little bit when I do this. Now, I already stretch and do tissue work here. I do stuff to make my butt work. But this specific motion makes my adductors kind of jam up a little bit and just tighten up and make it feel like, oh, we don't want to do that. So when I go into this motion to skate, whether I'm skating out or as a goalie, I feel like this motion, this position is not as stable as it should be. So if I'm doing all those things already, what I need to be thinking about, and what I am thinking about, is thinking, how am I going to get the right muscles to work in this specific position? So I'm here in this position, I feel my adductors kicking in, I'm trying to get external rotation. So my external rotators are all back here. These adductor muscles are not really great external rotators, right? Because what they're going to do, even if they do give me the external rotation, they pull my femur in towards the midline, which is going to jam me up. Okay, it's going to mean my femur is not moving correctly in the socket. So what I'm doing here is now I'm thinking of reprogramming things. I'm thinking, how can I get my butt muscles to help me here? Now, what I've noticed just in the last couple of hours messing around is when I'm trying to do this, you can see I'm getting more and more external rotation. as I'm trying to do this, one of my compensations is actually to try to just use my lower back muscles, right? So I'm here and I'm trying to go, and what I found myself, and I caught myself doing this a bunch of times, is flaring my ribs and trying to get more arch in my lower back, which is not external rotation. So I have to get that position, keep the lower back flat. So when I then start thinking about using the right muscles, actually here you can even see I can now get a lot more external rotation in that hip joint as long as I use the right muscles. So if I hold it here, I think about using these, try to quiet these down as much as I can, then I keep getting a little more external rotation, and I start to use the right stuff, and I get what I want. So with repetition, I start to build up my brain's ability to recruit the correct muscles, which then helps me when I go back on the ice to be able to do that quickly. And even now I can already feel the inner thigh muscles are not bothering me the way they were when we first started this video. I can still feel a little bit of pull, but it's not a ton, and it's because these muscles are now kicked on and are more able to help assist in that external rotation that I want in that position. So if you're doing stretching, you're doing the tissue work, you're doing the reactivation exercises, but you still find there are positions that bother you, you want to start thinking about what muscles your brain is activating to achieve that movement or that position, and see if you can reprogram to get the right muscles. In this case, I was using the external rotators to get my external rotation. This may require you to pop open an anatomy book. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. You get to learn some interesting things about your own body and hopefully help the body move a lot better. So I hope that helps you, gives you some good ideas, and I hope that you remember that pain sucks. Life shouldn't.